Okay, I'm here. This is John Babascus, and I've been working on my victim's impact statement. I'm here at my son's grave. Just in case something happens to me and there's a parole hearing later on, which of course there will be, you know, so they can say, oh, well, geez, he's been a good inmate. Let's let him out now. Even though he just murdered someone because he didn't like them. Okay, so here goes. Let's see how I make out with this. This isn't going to be very easy. Trying to stay with the guidelines, We have to be law-abiding citizens and follow the rules when you're a civilized person. Here goes. Might impact the crime on your life. When we found out that our son was murdered, our lives have been changed into a living hell. And it only got worse. My son was like my clone. He got his courage and kindness from his grandmother, who lives in London, England. Dustin got his love of working on cars and hunting and fishing, and the love of the great outdoors from me. A part of me died with him that night. I will never forget what happened to him, and how no one stopped to help him, and that goes for the police. I used to be a very happy person, but everything reminds me of what happened to him. When I see a young man with short hair and headphones on, I still look to see if it's him. If I see a fire truck or an ambulance or a police cruiser, I think, where were they, and what were they doing instead of going to save him? Even today, I get a strange feeling and think of my son when I pick up a knife. I used to like watching horror movies, but I can't watch them anymore because it brings back memories of the suffering he had to endure. I also have high blood pressure now. I think about my son all the time. People say you should move on. Well, you can't. When you have your loved ones' memories and pictures of them. I was going to sign my organ donor's card, but after this, no. I would hate to think that on my death I might help one of those people who drove by my son, or the police who didn't show up. I have always helped people, and so did Dustin. Dustin was bullied, not for weeks, but year after year. But 5'7", 130 pounds, he still tried to help people that were being bullied. He had 2 Canadian Indian friends, Kyle and Dan Pepper. We took them camping with us, nice kids. One day I asked him how he met them. He told me he was in detention and there were 2 kids terrorizing a small kid. He told them, why don't you pick on someone who can fight back? So the bullies told him, how would he like it if the 2 of them jumped him? He said he would have a better chance than that kid would. It was then that Kyle or Dan, I'm not sure who, butted in, that they would side with Dustin. The bullies shut up and left quietly. I had plans for him to take care of me and my wife when I got too old to stand up for my family. He was also going to be my mechanic, but not now. The bullies used to chase him around town. He would call me and I would go out and get him. He asked me one time if I saw him being beaten down, would I help him, and I would told him I would have his back. I will never forgive myself for not being there to help him that night. He was all alone, even with all those people driving by and the 911 calls. I will never rely on the police to help me or my family. I will never forget my son and the people who said no when I asked them for help. My family has a life sentence of pain, misery, heartbreak, and no parole for us. How fair is that? And this is Dustin's dad. I have to read this. Let's see if they read this, send it back, and make me make changes. More than likely, eh?